Okay, for section 10.6, we're going to start talking about segment lengths in circles. So when we were in last class, we were talking about circles, and we'd have something like two chords, and we'd really be looking at these angles and these arcs. We would be looking at these angles right here, or the arcs on the outside, or different things like that. But in section 10.6, we're actually going to be talking about, okay, if I know the length of this line and the length of this and the length of this, how can I find what the length of that chord is going to be? So we have a couple different definitions to go through first. The first definition is going to be the segments of a chord. So segments of a chord are going to be when two chords intersect in the interior of a circle. Each chord is divided into two segments. So like I said, when you have a chord, or when you have, let's start with a circle. So if I have a circle, and then I'm going to draw two chords, so chord 1, chord 2. There's actually going to be 4 separate pieces. So we have 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 pieces, and 4 pieces, because each one of those chords is going to get separated into 2 separate segments. A secant segment, kind of along the same line, but a secant segment is going to be a segment that contains a chord of a circle and has exactly one endpoint outside the circle. Okay, and then the last one that we're going to look at is called an external segment. And an external segment is going to be the part of a secant segment that is outside of the circle. Outside the circle. Okay, so those are your 3 separate vocabulary words. We have segments of a chord, a secant segment, and then the external segment. So we're just going to talk about those for a couple more things. So now let's go ahead and go through the theorems. This one says if 2 chords intersect in the interior of a circle, so remember, if they're intersecting in the interior, they're going to intersect inside the circle, then the product means that you're going to multiply. So the product of the lengths of the segment of one chord, of one of the chords, is going to be equal to the product of the lengths of the segments of the other chord. So this is getting broken up into 4 pieces. So let's talk about the blue chord right here. So chord DC is going to be broken up into 2 pieces, DE and EC. And then my second chord is going to be chord AB, and chord AB is going to be broken up into 2 chords, which is AE and EB. Okay, so now let's go back and look at my definitions again. So it says the 2 chords are going to be then the product of the lengths of the segments of one chord. So product means I'm going to multiply the segments of one chord, and that's going to be equal to the product of the segments of the other chord. So DE times EC is going to be AE times EB. Okay, And then the second theorem that we're going to look at, and I think this might be the last theorem, but the second theorem that we're going to look at says if two secant segments share the same endpoint outside of a circle, then the product, let's go over this again. So product means that we're going to multiply. So the product of the lengths of one secant segment and its external segment is going to equal, so one secant segment and its external segment is going to be equal to the product of the lengths of the other secant segment and its external segment. Okay, so let's kind of break this down. This secant segment is EB. So when I multiply EB by the part of EB that's outside of the circle, so the part of EB that's outside the circle is EA. So when I multiply those together, that's going to be equal to the length of the entire other secant segment, which is ED, times the part of that secant segment that's outside of the circle, which is going to be EC. An easy way to remember this one is that you're always going to multiply the length of the whole thing times the part that's outside. And that's going to equal whole times outside. So multiply the whole thing by the part that's outside. Okay, so now let's practice. These ones are intersecting inside the circle. Right? Obviously that's intersecting inside the circle. So I have to take my two chords. The first chord is this chord right here. The two pieces are going to be x plus 2 and x plus 1. Now I'm going to multiply that by this piece right here, which is going to be x times x plus 4. The right side will be pretty easy. Distribute that x to both of them, and you get x squared plus 4x. For the first part, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. You could FOIL it. You could say that I'm going to distribute the x and the 2 to both sides. I'm going to go ahead and do the box method just to make sure I don't forget any pieces. So the box method, I have an x, a positive 2, an x, and a positive 1. There's my box. That's going to give me x squared, 2x, x, and 2. So that's going to break up into x squared plus 3x plus 2. And again, I combined those because x plus 2x is going to give me 3x. So now I can start combining as well. So subtract x squared from both sides, and I get 3x plus 2 equals 4x. Subtract 3x from both sides, and I get 2 is equal to x. And for example 2, so this one has 2 secant segments. So this is again the part that we're going to do the whole times the outside, whole times outside. Whole times outside, and then that's going to be equal to, and another whole times outside. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the green one first. The length of this entire green line, I know this first part is 5, the second part is 4, so the length of the whole line is going to be 9, and the part that's outside of the circle is going to be 4. So I'm going to do 9 times 4. That's going to be equal to the length of the entire orange line, so this piece and this piece. Remember, we're just adding them. So in this case, it's going to be x plus 3. And then times the piece that's just outside the circle, which is going to be 3. That's going to give me 36 is going to be equal to, make sure you distribute that 3. That's kind of like a pit of death because you want to make sure that you're distributing that to both of them. That's going to give you 3x plus 9. Subtract 9 from both sides, and you get 27 is equal to 3x. and x is equal to 9. All right, example 3 is going to bring together a couple different pieces. I know one of these, so the bottom one is actually just a secant segment. So let's do that one first. I need the length of the whole thing times the part that's outside. So for the orange, that's going to be a whole times outside. The length of the whole thing is going to be x plus 8. The part that's outside is going to be 8. I'm taking the product, so I'm going to multiply them. And then that's going to be equal to, now this one we don't necessarily have a theorem for, but this is going to be for the tangent. So anytime you have a tangent, remember this doesn't have a piece that's inside of the circle. So anytime you have a tangent, it's just going to be the tangent squared. So in this case, I'm going to have 16 squared. So if it's a chord, you're going to do part times part. If it's a secant, you're going to do whole times outside. And if it's a tangent, you're going to do tangent squared. Let's actually write that up here. So one more time. If it's a chord, you're going to do part times part. If it's a secant, you're going to do whole times outside. And if it's a tangent, you're going to do tangent squared. So you'll do that tangent squared. Okay, now let's go back to that example. Don't forget to distribute. Boom, boom. 8x plus 64 is going to equal 16 squared, which is 256. Whoops, definitely made a mistake. Let's go back, erase this. Erase this. Hopefully you caught my mistake before I did. The outside part, so the part that's actually outside of the circle here, right? Here's my circle. The piece that's outside of the circle is actually x. So I'm going to put this one in bright red because that was my mistake. So x is the part that's outside of the circle. So distribute, distribute, x times x, x squared, plus 8x is equal to, and then 256. Okay. Let's get everything to the same side. X squared plus 8x minus 256 is going to be equal to 0. Now, two different ways to do this. So this is why I had you guys do that warm-up that you were just working on before. If you can factor this, then I want you to factor this. So if I can factor, do that. But in this case, I can't come up with any multiple of 256 that's going to add to give me positive 8. So if I can't factor that, then my next steps are first try to factor. If you can't factor, do the quadratic formula. So this one's a little bit longer, but if you can't factor, then you have to do the quadratic formula. So quadratic formula, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac, all of that's going to be over 2a. X is going to equal negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 64 minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 256, and then all over 2 times 1. Simplify again, and x is going to be equal to negative 4 plus or minus 4 times the square root of 17. So you're going to have to do a little bit of simplifying involved in that one. Now, a lot of the times you're going to be able to save yourself this step by just factoring, but in this case, there's nothing to factor. You won't be able to get that as an answer. So since you won't be able to get that as an answer, you're going to have to use the quadratic formula, and then you'll end up getting that as your final answer.